So, a lot of you don't know this, but I almost died some years ago. And it happened because I was on a healthy diet, eating plants and plant products and leafy greens, right? And guess what happened? I got really, really sick. And I just thought that I had the flu, and it just turned out that I was septic. And I had turned septic because I had an untreated and undiagnosed kidney stones that were building up in my ureter tubes and that contributed to my sepsis. And it was absolutely painful and horrifying. The treatment, I have to say, was worse than the problem. This happened a long time ago, and with the grace of God and the help of everybody around me at that time, I survived. And it helped that I had insurance at the time. And this was right before everybody's insurance got canceled because it didn't include certain things in it. So I was very fortunate to have insurance because this was very costly and it took a lot of time. And, you know, the doctors really did a good job in treating me, but I think that this could have been prevented because I did almost die. And it turns out that I had a very high oxalate diet. And the calcium that I was consuming from food was staying in the blood and not going into the bones because I wasn't eating enough um, citric acid or taking calcium citrate to move the high amounts of calcium from my blood into my bones. Also, uh, that contributed to the formation of huge and very many kidney stones that started piling up in these tubes right here that go to the kidneys and blocking the urinary tract from excreting urine. And it was, quite a harrowing time. Well, it turns out that all these surgeries that I had could have been prevented. All the treatments that I had, other than the emergency treatments, could have been prevented. I mean, obviously, the emergency treatment couldn't be prevented because that saved my life. I had less than 24 hours left on my heart. You know, I would have died within 24 hours without emergency treatment. And so, um, but these top notch urologists that I went to stated that I would always have kidney problems. I will always have kidney stones, and that there's no way to stop this from happening in the future, and that this is just going to happen to me on the regular from now on. And I'm like, no, it's not, because I won't let it. So what happened was I started taking in private consultations with urologists across Southern California and asking the tough questions. And I would also, my girlfriend, Tamara, who worked at a hospital, she talked to the urologist that worked at that hospital too. And one day she came to me and she says, "All right, so you didn't hear it from him, but he said that next time, or to prevent it from happening again, is to just take calcium citrate or drink lemon juice, which helps to move the calcium from the blood into the bones. And I knew that I would never allow for a next time because it was that traumatic, absolutely horrifying, so painful that it felt like a freight train on fire trying to push itself out of my vagina, constantly causing these horrible contractions. This was after the emergency treatment. And this was then exaggerated when I had the stents removed. So it was, I had the stents put in. They put in the stents, obviously, because they saved my life. But one day I snapped one of the stents that was inside of me, and I had to go get them removed. And that was extremely painful because I could barely stand and walk. I was on the ground on my knees crawling. It was so painful when that stent snapped. But after they were removed, this was this freight train. It felt like, a freight train that was on fire, that was just trying to, contract and come through. It just wouldn't stop. It was horrifying. Look, if anybody that's listening to this has ever had such advanced stages of kidney stones where they had to have emergency surgery and emergency blasting and stents put in and stents removed, leave a comment below, because I'm going to tell you something. This was a traumatizing experience for me, and I will never go through it again. Never. It'll never happen again. I changed my diet to a primarily all meat, animal-based diet. And I swore off of plants because those plants tried to kill me. And they did a great job. And I'm sure some of it was my fault also. But in my defense, the plants should have citric acid in them. The plants should have calcium citrate in them if they're meant for human consumption. So I'm going to stick to that because that's just a very bizarre thing. I mean, if all these plants that caused my almost, unaliving were meant to be eaten by me, why didn't they have the proper amount of citric acid or the proper amount of calcium citrate to accompany all those oxalates? Oxalates are toxins, they're poisons, and they're there to kill me. Why are they there to kill me? They're there to kill me so that their plant offspring will survive. So by killing me, those plants' seeds will bolt and they will reseed, and their babies will survive and make other little tiny millions of little plants. Those plants don't care if I know about or have calcium citrate, or if I have citric acid to accompany my diet, because they're trying literally to kill me. Plants. And they did a damn good job because they almost did that. So even though I was still at that time even growing a lot of eggs and poultry and pork and beef and lamb, goat, that wasn't my primary diet. My primary diet was, well, you guessed it, balanced. What they call balanced at the time. At that time, the USDA had their guidelines of a balanced diet, which is to include plants, right? And that's what I did. Silly me. I didn't know that the USDA guidelines were made up of non-dietitians, non-nutritionists, people who have nothing to do with the knowledge of proper human nutrition. That USDA chart was made up by the food mafia, who are trying to promote nasty, dirty, mold-laden grains as healthy, and also trying to push toxic plants as a health food because they have a ton of money and they could lobby. Who are these people? I don't know who they are, but I don't follow that anymore, thank goodness, because I said, never again will I for months be under doctor's cares, under doctor's lack of care is what I should say, other than the first emergency treatment, right? Because those months that followed were torture, literally torture. And do you know that my urinary tract did not heal for years? So years. That trauma took years to heal. I don't wish that on anyone. It's the worst. So one of the things that I did was start to really cut back on all plants. And I started to notice very small improvements because, like I said, it took years for me to heal. Not months, but years. And anytime I felt anything remotely like I wasn't urinating enough, man, I would suck down that calcium citrate like it was going out of style. I mean, I'm telling you, 3,000-4,000 milligrams, sometimes more than that. But the first thing I did was I started drinking only pure distilled water or reverse osmosis, and then adding in my own salt, and then taking a magnesium supplement. So I didn't want anything in water, nothing. I want H2O, and that's it. Because my kidneys needed to take a break. And that water that was purified, filtered, touched by angels, was full of crap. And I did not want my kidneys filtering that out. Now, some of you might say, well, reverse osmosis leaches minerals from your body. Some of you might even say, the distilled water leaches minerals from your body. That is not true. It does not leach minerals from your body. It just doesn't have minerals in the water. Okay? So I choose my minerals from my diet. My diet, which has all the proper macros, I get all the proper minerals from my diet, right? Is where I get my minerals from. And oh, by the way, my bone density has increased. Isn't that amazing? Okay. So anytime I feel even the slightest little weirdness, like I'm not urinating for the right amount of seconds that satisfy my mind, I go and I just either drink more salt water, or I take calcium citrate, or I drink lemon juice in my water, and I just pump myself up, or I take baking soda in the water, and make sure that next time that I urinate, it's a larger volume, because I am one of those people now that counts the seconds, and there better be enough seconds or else I panic. Another thing is that the lowest oxalate diet is the animal-based diet. That is the lowest oxalate diet on the planet, is eating animal-based foods such as eggs, beef, pork, lamb, goat, bison, chicken, duck, goose, butter, lard, tallow, cooking in these fats. These are the lowest oxalates, because they're not trying to kill me. They're trying to nourish me. There's no toxins. And I grow my own food. I grow my own eggs, my own poultry, beef, pork, lamb, goat, have my own raw dairy. And I do share with my friends and family and neighbors. And I do share, when we share in the cost of things, and it really helps a lot. And then it helps me to continue farming regeneratively and having grass-fed, grass-finished, no drugs, no, antibiotic foods, and also no grains. So my animals do not eat corn or soy or wheat or barley, because I will not put mold in my body. And if a chicken is eating grains, those grains, whether they're certified organic or not, are full of mycotoxins and aflatoxins. Look it up. Check it out. The USDA tries to mitigate the serious amount of mycotoxins and aflatoxins by using radiation. You know what? Let's stay away from the grains, okay? Number one, they spike the insulin. Number two, they increase your blood glucose levels. Number three, they can lead to cancer. Yes, look it up. It's a real thing. Mycotoxins and aflatoxins are the most dangerous molds on the planet. They can cause cancer, chronic kidney disease, gallbladder issues, leaky gut. These are poison. I'm not going to feed my animals poison, because I eat the eggs, I drink the milk, I eat the animals. So I'm not going to feed them poison. They are grain-free. No corn, no soy, no wheat, none of that crap. Last year is when I dropped over 40 pounds in about 3 months, eating just an animal-based diet of full fat, all meat only. I did TUMAD, which is 2 meals a day, and I did OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. Only meat. Not even avocados, not even blueberries. Just meat. And I dropped that 40 pounds. I mean, it just melted, burned, just fell off. Let me know in the comments below if you understand what I'm talking about right now, if you've had a similar experience, or somebody you know has gone through something that like what I'm talking about right now, because this is something that very few people are talking about, and how the animal-based diet can actually help mitigate those risks of having full-blown chronic kidney disease, kidney stones. It's just awful. And by the way, my urologist back then told me that I should limit my animal proteins. By the way, this is the urologist that tortured me. And when I say torture, I mean, if you would have seen the instruments that were literally used to remove those stents from my body, you would have thought that you were looking at some, early witchcraft and torture tools. And I had great insurance, by the way. You think I'm going to trust this guy? I'm not going to trust this guy. No way. Never going to happen. Especially when another urologist said, well, all she has to do is take calcium citrate, maybe drink some lemon juice. It's disheartening. It's very disheartening. So, the animal based diet actually helped my kidney health. So far, I should say, because I don't know what can happen in the future. And I have cut out 99.5% of all plants. No grains, no potatoes, no starch, no sugar. And one of the reasons that I say 99.5% is because sometimes I will make things and I will use these like stevia, or I will use allulose, or I will use swerve. And I do believe some of those are, or all of them are, plant based products. And I use very little of them. Another thing that I will use from time to time, that's why I'm saying 99.5%, is konjac powder when I do certain kinds of um, treats or desserts or things like that that are completely sugar free. I do use a lot of collagen. I do use gelatin. I do use all the animal based stuff. But and also the reason I say 99.5% of the time is because I will eat an avocado once in a while, or now, not before, but now I will even add a few blueberries. And when I say a few, I mean 10 or less. 10 or less. What else? I do drink the flavored scented water sometimes, which is LaCroix or bubbly. If I feel like having a soda, I will use Zevia, which is Zevia, caffeine free, sugar free, sweetened with stevia, I believe. And I do still drink distilled water and reverse osmosis water. And I do add salt to that. And I do take a magnesium supplement every single day. And I still eat a primarily meat based diet. So, if you follow me here on Polly's podcast, you see the videos that I'm making and I share with you what I'm cooking. And a lot of times it's right out of my backyard. It's beef, it's ground beef, it's pork ribs, it's pork steaks, it's going to be lamb, it's going to be chicken, because I do eat primarily meat and animal based. And I do use some spices also and herbs. So, again, the 99.5% of the time, I make room for that 5%. I should make room for a whole 1%. So, 99% of the time, I am animal based. And I am happy. I am healthy. I'm supporting my brain, which requires a lot of cholesterol. I don't overdo the fats anymore because I've learned that protein sparing modified fasting, which is a topic for another day, does help me burn fat. And my intermittent fasting, which is I do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. So I'll go 23, 24 hours without food. And then I'll eat my 1 meal. Or I'll do 2MAD, which is 2 meals a day with intermittent fasting. And then from time to time, I will do a complete, like what is it, sardine fast. Thank you, Dr. Boz. Thank you very much for the sardine fast, because that helps a lot. And thank you, Dr. Ken Berry, because when I was seeking permission. Look, I am a researcher. I am a research scientist. I do research. And, I will read through research, and I participate in studies, and I participate in research. Even though it is written and it is studied and it is done and it's written and it's peer reviewed, doesn't mean I want to do it. So I still was seeking that permission to become more animal based, even though I knew in my head that the plants were killing me. It's like a crazy psychosis. It's this brainwashing. And then I have to look for ways to almost like confirmation bias, right? Which I hate to say that as a researcher. I never want to have that in me, seeking confirmation bias. But it's true. I needed to go more animal-based, cut out all the vegetables and the fruits and the plants, but I was scared. And I don't know why I was scared. It's so silly, because then I came across, I was already reading Dr. Sinclair, Dr. Fung. I was already watching so many wonderful doctors on YouTube. But I still couldn't bring myself. And it was when watching Dr. Ken Berry that it finally gave me the permission to just do it for 3 months. I said, oh my goodness, well, I'll do it for 3 months. And I did it. And it stuck. And it helped. This is really important to sort of grasp, because even today I get people who say, don't you have to have fiber? Don't you have to eat fiber? And the answer is, I don't have to eat fiber. I certainly do not have to eat fiber. I am one person, and I will tell you that there are thousands that do not have to eat fiber. If fiber was part of the diet, a human diet, don't you think that human breast milk would be accompanied with fiber? Because look, babies are very vulnerable. Newborn babies are extremely vulnerable and delicate, and they're human babies. Don't they need fiber? I mean, how come they don't drop dead every single day from not eating fiber? And I know people who have breastfed for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, even 6 years, up to 6 years. And there's no fiber in that breast milk. Is fiber necessary? I don't think so. I don't believe it is, because I'm doing just fine without it. And I never experienced constipation. Never experienced blockages of any sort. Now, I will tell you this. If you have been brainwashed like I was, it's a scary transition until somebody says, just do it for 90 days. Give it a shot. Just do a challenge for 90 days. That's where it changes everything. Anyone could do anything for 90 days. I mean, you could even do, fasting and just water and salt for 90 days. You could just eat sardines for 90 days. Nothing's going to happen. But I don't suggest that you eat salad or plant matter for just 90 days, because you might get kidney stones, or even worse, chronic kidney disease, or really mess up your stomach or get diverticulitis. I don't know. Something could happen. Don't do it. Not to mention the fact that you're not getting any macros and just eating, your salads or grains or potatoes or sugar or, you know, don't do it. But if you're going to do something, it should be just animal based proteins and fats, which is you're going to reach your macros. And, I changed everything. And I finally went 100, what I call 99% now, all animal based. And I still, like I said, I drink, I've expanded with my waters. I've expanded to adding some things back into my diet. And I'm doing very, very well. So far, I am doing great. So thank you to Dr. Kenberry for giving me permission, and also to Dr. Boz for the sardine fast, which I don't think I'll do again anytime soon because that was a bit extreme. I'd rather not eat anything than eat sardines. But I think a lot of you, if you've done the sardine diet, let me know in the comments below. It's crazy. Look, I will catch you up on my progress another time. But for right now, I want to wish you health and happiness. Please subscribe. It's absolutely free. This is Polly's podcast. And give me a thumbs up. Send this to somebody if you think it will help them. Bye for now.